Hi, welcome once again to M5's English language learning program, Let's Speak English. I'm Gav Duncan and I'm here on your TV to help you learn English. Now, are you sitting comfortably? Yes? Good! And are you ready for today's lesson? Yes? Good! Okay, well let's learn English together. Friday, people. Yes, it's Friday, that most wonderful of days, the diamond in the rough of the rest of the week, the shining pole star which we all keep our eyes peeled for. It's here. Once again, the cycle of weeks has turned and rolled and trundled and swished, and now, once again, we find ourselves here with Friday on our doorstep. Or, because it's never quite clear, are we on Friday's doorstep? But although it's never quite clear, at least as far as I'm concerned, it's never quite clear if we're there or it's here. But, and this is the important thing, it doesn't really matter, does it? I mean, I've been thinking about this for a couple of minutes now, and I can't see any difference between us being there or it being here. The end result is the same. It's Friday. And although we know that it's Friday, we're also aware that Friday is going to transform, to metamorphose, to transmogrify into the beast from the east, Friday. Yes, and we all know why it's the beast from the east, don't we? Yes, because that's where the day begins, that's where the sun rises. Okay, so with no more ado, let's get the lesson out of the way. The sooner we do that, the closer we'll be to the beast. Hit the button, Viv, hit the button. And so, with no further ado, if you're all ready, you are all ready, aren't you? So, what's next? Pertinent, easy. This is just a synonym for relevant. So, when you go for a job interview, for a job as the manager of a computer shop, you expect the interviewer to ask pertinent questions. Questions about your experience, qualifications, which computer you use, and what the difference is between the ZX81 and the Commodore 64. Those sorts of things. If the interviewer starts asking whether you prefer rap music to 1970s glam rock, then, well, that would be confusing. That information isn't relevant. Those questions aren't pertinent. That information has got nothing to do with the job you're applying for. So, pertinent, relevant, suitable, appropriate. Next! Aha! To snap at someone. Well, first of all, let's think about the verb to snap. The verb to snap means to break suddenly and completely. And when something snaps, it normally happens with a sharp, cracking sound. If I snap a pencil, then we can see and hear the same thing, can't we? Ah! Ha ha! Ha ha! All right, now take that idea and run with it a little bit. Now, when we're talking about someone snapping at us, we're not talking about a physical idea, but a mental idea. This is the idea that someone suddenly, quickly, sharply turns on you. This person suddenly speaks to you in a very aggressive way. This person loses their temper with you, and instead of speaking to you normally, this person loses their self-control and says something to you quickly and irritably. All right, now something less aggressive. Well, yes and no. To wind someone up. Originally, this came from the idea of the verb to wind a clock or a watch up, to turn the little dial on the side of a watch, or to put a key into the hole in a clock face and turn the key to wind the clock. Now, if we do that, if we put a key into the keyhole and wind the clock, or if we do the same thing with a mechanical watch like this one, almost, if we wind the watch, then we have to ask the question, why are we doing this? Okay, but the answer's simple, isn't it? Yes. If the clock isn't powered by a battery, if the watch isn't a quartz watch, then how does the watch or clock keep time? Yes, there's a spring inside, and we tighten that spring, and then over time the spring unwinds and releases energy. The energy which makes the hands of the watch or clock move, the energy which makes the clock work, which makes the clock keep time. Okay. So that's the original idea. Now follow me closely here and think about the idea of that spring being wound up. The spring has got lots of energy trapped inside it. All of that energy is held inside the spring. The more we wind the spring, the more energy we force inside it, the more pressure and strain we put into the coils of the spring. Okay, so take that idea and transfer it to a person. What do you think we do when we wind someone up? Yes, that's right. We do the same thing to them as we do to a clock or watch spring. We increase the tension. So, there are normally two reasons for this happening. We might be playing a joke on this person. Perhaps we phone them up and pretend to be someone famous and we're all listening and laughing at them. But we could also just be making them angry and tense. Here, it's not so sure that this is deliberate. If something winds you up, your boss at work, the people you work with, then it's probably not a joke, but the fact that you don't like working with them. They make you angry. The other one, the one which isn't a joke, is the situation where something makes us tense and angry, something which makes you irritated. If you work in a shop and everyone who comes in asks you a silly question, then this will probably wind you up. By the end of the day, you'll be as tense as a tightly wound spring, ready to release all of that energy, probably by snapping at the next person who asks you a silly question. So, we can wind someone up and hopefully when we tell them that it was a joke, they'll laugh too and then we can all have a good laugh together. But if someone or something wound someone up, then it might be a good idea to keep out of their way. Wait for them to calm down. You don't want them to snap at you, do you? Okay, and now what's next? Well, it's what happens in the other direction. When we're wound up, when we're tense, when we've had a hard week or day, when we're full of nervous energy, when we're like an unstable bomb waiting to explode, what do we need to do? Yes, that's right. Just as the spring slowly releases the tension we cause by winding it, we need to do the same thing. We need to release the tension we've got inside of us. We need to relax. Just like a spring, we need to unwind. That's what it means. What do we do at the end of the day or at the weekend? Yes, we unwind. We relax. We take it easy to let the tension and stress flow away. Why do we go on holiday? Yes, because the tension in our lives is getting too much. So we take a few days off work. We forget about our work problems. We forget about the fact that half the people who work with us are congenital idiots who like embarrassing music. We try not to concentrate on things connected to our everyday life. We try to let our minds wander and think of new things. We unwind. We relax. We do what springs do. Now, what's next? Oh, this one's easy. To irritate. Two main meanings, one physical and one which we've just seen. So, the physical one first. If something irritates a part of your body, then it causes an inflammation and discomfort. Think about when a bee or a wasp stings you. What happens? Yes, your skin becomes inflamed and it itches or hurts. This is because the poison in the sting is irritating your skin. Perhaps you buy a new antiperspirant, but then you have to throw it away. One of the chemicals in it causes a skin irritation. Your armpits turn red and you have a burning sensation. It feels like your armpits are on fire. The chemical in the antiperspirant causes a skin irritation. So, that's the physical idea. What about the idea of something or someone irritating you? Well, in that case, they wind you up. They make you annoyed or a little bit angry. Think about what happens when someone calls you, but they've made a mistake. They've dialed the wrong number, and they're looking for someone else. What do? Yes, that's right. You tell them politely that they've got the wrong number. Okay, but what happens when this person keeps on phoning back, looking for the same person, the person who doesn't have your number? You've already told them this. You've told them more than once. So, what happens? Yes, you start to get irritated. This person is irritating you. They're making you annoyed. They're starting to make you angry. They're irritating you. You're irritated. Like this guy.
Hello? No, you got the wrong number. Yeah, but ain't no Thelma here, man. Yeah. here. What? Ain't no f***ing Thelma here, man. Look, the don't live here.
Okay, let's leave that guy alone. Let's keep out of his way. He's pretty wound up. Next, a problem shared is a problem halved. A proverb, or an idiom, or a phrase, I don't know. But what I do know is what it means. It means that if you tell someone what your problem is, if you don't bottle everything up, if you share that information, if you tell someone what's troubling you, then that problem will decrease in size. Tell someone, let them know what's wrong, and they'll probably try to help. And then, well, then you'll feel as though the problem has been halved. It's not as troubling as it was. All right, what's next? To keep up? Well, this is a simple one too. To keep up with someone or something is to move or progress at the same speed as someone. If I go running with Usain Bolt, then I can't keep up with him. He's too fast. And we can have the same thing with a mental idea. Just like when Enid said it to me, do try and keep up. What did she mean? Well, she was telling a story and I kept on interrupting. She thought my interruptions were silly, that I was having difficulty in following her story. So she was telling me to pay more attention, to concentrate more and follow her like a hawk, that's all. And now, aha, to lose the thread. Well, what's a thread? Well, one meaning for thread is the thin cotton string we use when we sew. When we connect two pieces of material using a needle and a thread, then we need two important items. A needle, one of those long, thin bits of metal with a hole at the less pointy end. But that's only half of the story. We also need some thread, some cotton string to connect the things we want to connect. Stuff like this. Okay, that's easy. But what if we lose the thread? Well then, in that case, we can't continue, can we? And from that idea, we get the idea of to lose the thread, which means that we can't follow what someone is saying, or sometimes we can't remember what we were going to say. We've lost the thread. If you're listening to someone telling a very complicated story, it might be very easy for you to lose the thread of what they're saying. And if you interrupt them, they might get wound up because you made them forget what they were going to say. Because of you, they've lost the thread. And that's it for today. Yes, people, it's true. We're very near to the end of the lesson. Yes, it's coming up fast, like a submarine full of helium. But with a different sound, obviously. All right, so the end is near, as the sandwich boards people used to say. Of course, the people who carried those sandwich boards were as mad as March hares, so maybe we shouldn't pay too much attention to them. Not that anyone did, mind. All right, Friday is where we are, and Friday is where we want to be. What do we need? Patience. Yes, that's right. We can't make time move faster. We've been into this before a couple of times, and as an aside, I still haven't heard anything back from you-know-who. So I'm off home to get a coffee, and I know that you lot have got stuff to do too. And that's a good thing. Do your chores, look after the animals, teach the cat new potting techniques, whatever. And when you're done, then have a look at the time. You'll be far closer to Friday than you were before, and you'll have a cleaner house too. Win-win, people, win-win. Then, as we all know, it'll be time to hit the shower. In hot water, shampoo, rinse, more shampoo? Well, if you say so, rinse for a second time. Conditioner? Okay, but I don't need it, thanks. Short hair, you see. Soap, turn the water off, get out, get dry, get some gel into your hair, and then blast your armpits with antiperspirant. Make sure that if anyone smells like a homeless dinosaur's armpits at the party, it's not you. Have a great weekend, people, and remember not to smell. I'll see you all on Monday for the next weekly session. See you after the weekend. See you later. www.mediaclick.hu. Bye!